All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here at LTR. Now, in case you weren't aware, LTR stands for long-term relationships. And this is our 4th annual LTR right here in New York City, the home of Braze HQ. LTR has grown to be bigger and better every year, and I'm immensely proud of what our team has put together for all of you to experience today. But before we really kick things off, let's shake off our morning fatigue a little bit, get our hands ready, because I want to give a big round of applause for the creative, hardworking, dedicated team at Braze who's come together over the last few months to make yesterday and today a resounding success. Let's hear it. All right, now that you're all warmed up, I also want to present a challenge to each of you. I want you to work hard to be active participants throughout the entire day. Stay present, engage in the content, start new long-term relationships with your peers, and walk away with a wealth of new knowledge and perspective. It's been a busy week in New York with over 100,000 global marketers and technologists gathered for networking, workshops, and seminars as part of Advertising Week. And Braze started off this week up at Lincoln Center as a proud sponsor of both the Female Quotient and the Girls Lounge. Later today, you'll hear more about the Girls Lounge right here on stage, directly from their co-founder and CEO, Shelly Zalis. We also partnered with Ohm to bring an interactive art experience that allows participants to paint beautiful images by harnessing their brainwaves. And in case you didn't make it up to Lincoln Center earlier this week, we've brought that here today. It's set up in the bus right out in front in case you want to paint with your thoughts. But that was Advertising Week, and this is LTR. LTR is about customer engagement, and we're going to dive deep into it by exploring topics around emerging capabilities, ambient computing, consent and privacy, and what makes great relationships between brands and their customers. These are all hard problems, but mastery of them presents enormous opportunity for everyone here today. At Braze, we're working hard to help each of you achieve that mastery. That's why we exist as a company, it's why you believe in us, and it's what's fueling our growth. But while we're growing, we're also evolving. In the last year, we changed our name from Appboy to Braze, fully rebranding in the process and finding a new voice. We've made huge investments in improving support for global customers, including opening a new office in Singapore, and we've doubled the size of our team worldwide, investing in every function. We're also very honored to have been recognized for our rapid growth and acceleration, as well as our leadership in the engagement technology space. So a huge thank you to Inc., Forbes, Deloitte, Business Insider, Forrester, G2 Crowd, and Gartner for the accolades that we received in just the last year. And in very exciting news for all of us, in case you missed it yesterday, I'm incredibly happy to share that we announced the close of an $80 million fundraising round, our Series E financing. Combined with our Series D, that means that we've added over $130 million in new investment since last year's LTR. And most importantly, we're very happy to share that we're leveraging that investment to the benefit of all of you. We're enhancing our support and services, we're pouring more money into R&D, we're going multi-cloud, and we're continuing our global expansion. All right, now that we've got the news out of the way, I want to take a step back. Over the last few decades, the introduction of digital communications channels has had a profound impact on our lives and has impacted the way that we interact with each other, with brands, and with the world. We've entrusted our phones and our devices with a deep understanding of ourself. We've also given them an immense amount of our time, and we've even granted them the permission to interrupt us in our life. What we want in return is something that brings us joy, provides us with fulfillment, enriches a healthy relationship, or helps us achieve our goals. When we started Appboy in 2011, the narrow goal of our first product was to help mobile companies lessen churn and better engage their customers through mobile channels. But as we started building, we knew that the change happening in the world was about more than just smartphones and push notifications. There was a fundamental shift happening. The future of digital communication would not be siloed into channels, separated by clean lines, tied to distinct generations of technology. No, our future relationship with personal technology would be varied and complicated. Disparate generations of devices would all start to overlap as innovation continued to accelerate and touchpoints multiplied. We knew that first and foremost, an ability to natively and seamlessly transition from one medium of interaction to another would become more important than any particular way of communicating. It wouldn't be enough to just bolt a bunch of messaging silos together, slap an omni-channel sticker on the side, and call it a day. No, to truly be future-proof, we would need to architect the system with interactive feedback loops, seamlessly working across channels, whatever they might be, either today or in the future. We also knew that human beings were complicated. And depending on what we wanted to say to them and how that person wanted to be communicated with, we would need to be flexible. We'd need to understand, to anticipate. And to do that, we needed to listen closely so that we could build a sophisticated representation of the human on the other side of that screen. It would no longer be enough for a human to be an email address with a bunch of tags or a device profile with a push token. And a human certainly couldn't be defined by a long-forgotten pair of shoes in an abandoned cart somewhere that just won't leave you alone. The data model for our customer needs to be sophisticated and expressive. It needs to evolve and change in real time, responding immediately, not waiting for some overnight batch process to run. And it would also need to respect user privacy and their preferences, relying on first-party data that was collected by listening closely during a product experience that the customer has consented to. Most importantly, it would need to be used to provide value to the human who's invited the brand into their lives. Now, this question of how a brand does or should fit into a customer's life is also becoming increasingly complicated. When we look at the touch points and look around the world today, we already see hints and flavors of what's to come. Connected homes, connected cars, augmented reality, smart cities, voice assistants. These are just some of the promising new technologies that are relentlessly pushing ahead to provide seamless digital touchpoints throughout our lives. And now, in 2018 and looking ahead, just like that moment when Steve Jobs famously told us that there was one more thing, I think we're once again staring down a future that has fantastic power to change our relationship with technology, and alongside it, our relationship with the world. And that's what today is all about. We're here to discuss the power of teaming up the uniquely human strengths of creativity, empathy, and intuition with sophisticated technology that can help solve this problem of customer engagement, allowing you to ultimately develop and enrich the relationships that you have with your customers. It's the human factor. Weaving this all together, in today's programming, we're going to cover a lot of ground. It's always been a core belief of ours that a focus on speaking with customers in a human way will have measurable return on investment. And today, we're very happy to have partnered with Forrester to put some data behind that belief with the unveiling of the Brand Humanity Index. You'll be hearing more about that later this morning from our President and Chief Customer Officer, Miles Klieger. You'll also get the opportunity to learn from sophisticated Braze customers about how they deliver brilliant experiences at massive scale, and you'll hear about the evolving Braze product that supports them from our CTO, John Hyman, and our VP of Product, Kevin Wong. After lunch, we'll be back on stage to dissect the art of great brand storytelling, explore the intersection of creativity and technology, take stock of the post-GDPR world, and discuss the state of the art of AI in our space. Along the way, we'll also be offering some palate cleansing for the mind to make sure you're still hanging in there with us as we move throughout the day. And we hope that you have a wonderful time.